Howdy everyone. I actually wanted to talk Spongebob today. I watched a little bit of season 11 of the new episodes and it's sitting around a 7 out of 10 for me. It's certainly a lot better than previous seasons. I will say that it's not quite as amazing as it was in some of the first seasons, but they're still really trying, and there's some really creative stuff in there. It's reminding me of Modern Simpsons. Actually, I think I've said that before, but it does remind me a little bit of Modern Simpsons now because it has got a lot of those modern jokes, those clever winks to the camera, and certainly you're seeing that here as well. So the first episode I watched was Spot Returns, I think it was called? Yeah, Spot Returns, where essentially it's about Plankton and Karen. I love that Plankton and Karen, Karen plays a much bigger role now, that, because she is such an interesting character, she adds such a nice female dynamic to the show, because there aren't many female characters who play a big role. Sandy's certainly taken a sideline. And I like that, she plays a bigger role now. And she's such an interesting character in that she's like an AI, and like she can reboot and do all sorts of weird things, but, and I like that Plankton is much warmer with her now. He treats her more like a wife, much more loving and just affectionate, and they kind of bicker and this sort of thing. It's very good that way. And this one, essentially, his amoebas, which he treats like kind of puppies, I think make more amoebas, and his amoeba's pregnant, and so he has to sell the amoebas. It's quite a creative setting, and I do like that it certainly stays creative throughout the season, with a couple of exceptions. The episodes I've seen, it stays creative, but I'll get to those in a sec. And so, yeah, for a starter episode for season 11, it was good. He tries to use the amoebas, obviously, to we get a bit of an Ocean's 10 thing, where he tries to go in and steal a Krusty Krab with his trusty dogs, each playing a different role, and it's very, very creative like that, and this was a real test of their creative bone, this one. And so, yeah, I love the creativity of these new episodes, I will say that. And obviously he fails, and SpongeBob helps him to train the puppies, not knowing he's going to steal from the Krabby Patty, obviously. Yeah, very good episode. The other one after that was, this is an odd one, because essentially Mr. Krabs gets a checkup, a health checkup, and basically Squidward and SpongeBob try to get him to have his health checkup, and it leads to a lot of really gross out scenes. I almost feel like they're egging Enter and Me on to say something about these moments, or not just us, but lots of different critics to say something about these moments, because there's all these kind of gross out scenes where Krabs will lose all his teeth, he'll have his skin pulled off, and it's quite grotesque without actually raising from a G rating, and it's enough to make people cringe, but not kind of in that kind of clever way. Like, in previous seasons, probably the best example I always use is when SpongeBob and Patrick see that butterfly. Oh, it's beautiful. When they see it up close, it's terrifying, and we get a little bit of a hint of the butterfly up close, which does look quite ugh. It's not gross, but it's ugh. And that is kind of the clever one, and they're using that. They obviously react in terror. Here they're just kind of throwing in kind of those gross moments, and you don't really know why. Maybe it's so... God, that sounds so egocentric, sorry. Maybe lots of different critics will draw attention to it if they do that, and will actually give it more publicity, because there's no such thing as bad publicity. I don't know why they throw it in. Maybe the kids like the little gross out scenes, maybe it's just the adults like me that are going, ugh. But anyway, yeah, so that was an okay episode. Again, I like the premise of them doing all sorts of weird things to try and get him to have his physical. Then they just bring in the muscly guy at the end and pretend he's Krabs. It's pretty straightforward, but they make a creative setting. The next one I didn't like much. It's essentially SpongeBob and Patrick having a good old time, and they come across some stuff, some of Squidward's sports stuff, and they just have some fun with it. They don't know how to play the games, they don't know how to play racquetball or whatever. So Squidward teaches them to play the games wrong because they might hurt themselves. It's so dumb. This is like one of the stupidest episodes I've ever watched. It is such a weird silly premise. I don't know why or how it fits into that category, but when you hear that, don't you think, what? I mean, and like there's these huge games at the end where he's taught them to play them wrong and they're hurting themselves, but they have to keep like. Why do they keep playing if they're hurting themselves? Couldn't they just stop playing? I mean, I know Patrick is thick as a box of rocks, but it's arguable if SpongeBob is. Why would they keep playing? And then Sandy comes in as, whoa, the evil Squidward has gone and made them play the games wrong. That's so stupid. I'm sorry I lost it there. That's so dumb. And I guess if you want that reaction out of me, just how silly it is, then yeah, you've got that. Yeah, that was really stupid. It's so cheesy. Excuse me, sorry, I've destroyed this. Yeah, Sandy comes in and says, oh, they've got to play it properly. So she plays the games with him, and if she wins, he has to teach them how to play it properly. Oh, and they kind of have to go free after that because apparently he's got them trapped. It's just so stupid. In case you're wondering, this episode, it's I think it's episode 2, season 2. It's really stupid, but yeah, and you get these weird plots like that, and they're very throwaway episodes. They're not offensive, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're dumb, but they're not offensive. So yeah, very odd episode, that one, where they're playing sports and Squidward teaches them how to play it wrong. So it's taking me right back to Squidworks. And the other episode which I watched, which was quite good, is Plankton pretends to be a genie. He puts himself in a bottle because he wants to be put in the same bottle that the Krabby Patty formula is. It's really out there. It's like so abstract an idea. And so he starts granting the wishes of every person. Like, he'll come, and that is really creative and interesting. He'll come across SpongeBob and he'll say, oh, I want this and this, and so he'll go out and create and run back. And he, for example, Squidward says, I want a golden clarinet that always plays well. So he runs back, gets his old clarinet, paints it golden, happens to know how to play the clarinet properly from classes, jumps inside the clarinet as Squidward is playing it, and makes him play it well, and it's just so silly. And he does this for all these different characters. I would have liked to see him do that for more characters. He only does it for a couple of characters, and that makes so much creativity when they do something like that. And that's what I love about this, is that creative edge is there, and I like that about SpongeBob, is that they still have that creative edge, and it makes neat stuff like that kids or adults can laugh at. And yeah, obviously he doesn't succeed, and that's really abstract and stupid how he's going to do it, but anyway, I won't prattle on like that. Overall, so far, I've liked the season. It's made me laugh, but some episodes have still been really stupid, and I don't know why they still do that gross out stuff. Maybe to get attention, I don't know. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the new season if you guys have seen it. I'd love to know what other people are feeling so far. I don't know if this has been receiving absolutely terrible, oh my god, it's the end of SpongeBob, it's back to season 8 or whatever, or if people are like, oh yeah, it's really improved and stuff. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. My guess is people are going to be like, meh, but I would be curious. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.